Hi, my name is Shae. I go by Shayna X Lynn, and this is Wannabe.
When do you start noticing getting attention as all that influence?
Honestly, I wanted to be a lawyer. And yeah, it stopped just about right there as I decided. You know, when you're young and you discover TV and that's all you watch for a long period of time. I watched Legally Blonde, and that sparked the Elle Woods baddie vibe in me. You know, wanted to be a lawyer, the whole nine. Pink was my favorite color. I am from Hawaii. I was born on Oahu, and then I moved to Vegas when I was 10 years old. Growing up was cool. I was from the west side of Hawaii, so it's a little more away from what you usually see. It's a little more mountains, a little more open. I honestly, when you're a kid, you kind of just remember the beach and just having fun and playing in the streets. So that's all I remember. But yeah, it was nice. It was nice. I didn't start gaming until COVID, really. I would play once in a while on my dad's Xbox, but we were mainly sports-centric, so it was just always at the gym or at the football field, at school, and then when we got home, it was just eating and homework. But I remember playing zombies with my brother, and that's all we played. It was scary, it was terrifying, but it was the only thing besides going outside. I would say my competitiveness came from sports, but it does translate into my gaming. I'm 5 feet tall, that's why I'm laughing. My first sport was volleyball. First to second grade. I actually was a little discouraged from that because I was so tiny. I was like, okay, what can I do then? So I wanted to be a cheerleader. In Hawaii, naturally you climb up trees. But when you move to Vegas, mostly it was a culture shock. Being in the mainland, being in the cold, and then the hot summer. For me, the biggest thing, I think, the separation with the kids was one, that I spoke like a true Hawaiian kid that just came off and swam here. And the second one was just speaking on the language barrier. It was dress code. I didn't know that the 3-finger rule was a thing, and then you had to cover your shoulders, and I wore open-toed shoes, and you call them sandals in Hawaii, but you call them flip-flops here. And so I remember one time I argued with my friend, and she was like, "You're wearing flip-flops again." I'm like, "These are sandals," because in Hawaii they used to have the little raised flip-flops, and they would be the thing, and so I would wear those to school. They're like, "No, you can't wear that." So that was the hardest thing. My dad was a triathlete in high school, so he did basketball, baseball, football, and he's been running with the sports ever since. I mean, ever since I can remember, I was a part of his life while he was in college, so I remember going to football games, and then he transferred to do semi-pro football in Japan. So it was always a sports family. He went to University of Hawaii. My dad is naturally a coach, so he knew how to play, he knew how to throw, he knew how to coach someone that's never been. So it was a little more easier transitioning into sports for me than I feel like most kids. It's a really different dynamic. I mean, it was good in the beginning when you're young because you're learning and they're like so proud of you because you're playing the sport they love. And then you get to high school and you're going to state championship games in a basketball tournament, and you and your dad are just like losing your minds over the same thing. I think it's really cool, but there's also the parent-coach aspect, you know, bringing that into the home. It's a little different. Would I coach my kid? Ooh. I feel like if they needed a coach, I would, but I don't think I would want to. I went to Alcorn State in Mississippi. It's a small D1 school in the South, very, very off the grid. I went to go for criminal justice because I wanted to be a lawyer. On the path to becoming a lawyer, I am not. That's not ever going to be in my future. Sorry, mom and dad. When you do have empathy for a situation, I can't turn it off. I'm very invested in my work and what I do, and if I'm helping somebody, obviously when you're a lawyer, you're helping them. Yeah, I don't feel comfortable helping out bad people. It's just, I don't care how much money you give me. If you are wrong, you are in jail. I'm so sorry. I was on scholarship for golf. Golf came from boredom. My dad's football coach, and he was a basketball coach and a teacher. So I'd be at school from 6 o'clock, 6:30, go to school until 1:30, study hall or practice, because my football always has practice right after school. They do study halls or films. I would just do study hall, or I would sit there on my phone. My dad's like, you should go pick up another sport or something, and just get a letter. I was like, okay, whatever. His friend was coaching, another one of the teachers that I was cool with. He was coaching the golf program. They had only had 4 of them. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna make the team regardless. Like, hell yeah, this is fun. And it just took off from there. I did it my sophomore year for fun, tore my ACL my junior year, and then my senior year, I really just put it into grind mode and decided that golf was the scholarship that I needed to get at that time. I was on basketball scholarship, so it was kind of weird. Growing up in Hawaii, I'm gonna harp on that a lot, because you were a tough kid. You rode down the hills, the backyard, the mountains, the trees. They're your playground, truthfully. We don't ride dolphins, but pretty close to it. I was always tough. I grew up around boys. I'm the oldest. I'm the only girl for a long time in my family. And so I was just used to getting thrown around and beat up, and I had braces while I played basketball, so it was bruised teeth, cut lips. But when I got hurt and tore my ACL, right away, I knew it was a different feeling, but I didn't know to what level. And so when my coach told me I couldn't go back in, I'm like, why? This always happens. It was a lot different from anything else. I've got a concussion on the basketball court and still played. I didn't get taken out. When I tore my ACL, I knew it was different. It was a different feeling. Your body just isn't right when one thing doesn't work.
I know it's been a while, but I am back with some average golfing at Valley High Golf Club. We are at home.
My social media started to really take off, I think, during COVID. I think I've been on sport mode for a really long time. That's cool to have something to do when you're a kid, but when you're always having something to do, you don't really have time to sit by yourself and think about what you actually want or what you like. It's more scheduled. Everything's scheduled. So after I got hurt and then I went to college and I left college, it didn't work out. I had a lot of time to just sit with myself and just kind of take a break, in a sense, from that athletic side of myself. And I picked up League of Legends. Nothing really heavy. I wasn't a big gamer. But during COVID, there was nothing else to do besides watch TV or the news, and nobody wants to watch the news because that was all on TV. I just love talking to people. So I think that's why I do social media now. I just talk to people, film them, showcase them, just have fun.
It's Shae over at Valley High Golf Club, and I have a special giveaway
If
for
you follow me on social, I think it'll be a mix of golf, gaming, trolling, my cat Lou, my boy. And sometimes I like to go on there and spew nonsense about how you should be a better person, but you can watch that. My first video to blow up was, it was probably a TikTok challenge during COVID. But I was just at my old job, and I'm an opener when I was a manager at the time, so I'd have a lot of downtime. I worked with the social media team, but they were like, yeah, just do like a couple videos that we could post to our page. Not very PG for business pages, and so I put it up on my personal, and I woke up one day with like 20,000 likes, and it was like 7 hours later. Wait, is this real? Did somebody else post this? And it was cool. It was like being on the roller coaster for maybe half a second, and then you're like, okay. I think the biggest thing with Wannabe, who do you want to be? Constantly ask yourself that question. I have made very big decisions based on asking myself what I want or like who I want to be. And I think being honest with yourself and not pushing yourself to do something that others want you to do, and just going against the grain sometimes, going with what you want. You're not going to hurt anybody's feelings except your own, and that's the most important.